Welcome back to my channel, Exploring Ooies. I am so excited to share my first trimester bump date with you all. I am well into the second trimester right now, but I have been tired and I haven't gotten around to doing this video. But I do want to share everything that I've learned, like tips that I've done in the first trimester, what apps I'm using, how I'm educating myself, what happened, the symptoms that I wasn't expecting, things like that. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you are planning on getting pregnant, I hope it's helpful. If you are pregnant or if you've already had a baby, I hope you can relate to some of the things. If there's something I didn't mention, go ahead and put that in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Okay, so let's start at the very beginning, how I found out I was pregnant. So Neil and I, my husband, we were trying to get pregnant for several months, and so in January of this year I took my pregnancy test when I thought I was about to miss my period, and it came out negative. So I thought I wasn't pregnant, and I went to a party. I was feeling like cramps, and I remember coming home telling him, like, I'm getting like pre-period cramps. I don't know, it's so uncomfortable. And then the next day it kept happening, and then the next day it kept happening, but I'm like, I'm getting these pre-period cramps, but my period is not coming, and I don't know why. So a couple days of that, and then I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. So I went to the bathroom real quick and took another test, and that one was positive. So I guess my levels at the time of the first test weren't high enough, but I was indeed pregnant. We did find out 4 weeks of pregnancy that I was pregnant, so pretty early on, and that's that. I didn't really have any other symptoms that told me I was pregnant except for the pre-period cramps that lasted well into the first trimester. I kept having cramps, and that really worried me because I didn't know that that happened, but that is normal. So if that happens to you, don't freak out. It is normal. They did go away at some point. But yeah, that's how I found out we were pregnant. I surprised my husband with a little onesie that we had. I had hidden from him because I wanted to announce it to him in a cute way whenever it did happen. So that was fun. So as for symptoms, I keep a little journal of how much I weigh, and I know some people don't like calculating how much they weigh. They don't want to look at it, but I want to know, because I want to know how much I'm gaining, if I'm gaining the proper amount, if I'm gaining too much. Obviously every pregnancy is different, so I can gain this amount of pounds this pregnancy and the next one's very different. I'm not obsessing over it. I am checking weekly to see how much I'm weighing, to make sure I'm not gaining too much weight because I'm eating a ton, but also that I am gaining weight. And in the first trimester I was losing so much weight, so I'm really glad I took down those measurements, those weights, I'm really glad I took down that information so that I have that, so I can see how much I lost and then how much I was able to get back up, because of course you want to be gaining weight because you're growing a baby and you want to make sure that the baby's gaining weight through you. So I do have a little notebook of that, as well as the symptoms that I thought were the most prevalent that week. So first trimester is the first week through the 13th week. However, we didn't know that I was pregnant weeks 1 through 4. So it starts week 4. So I'm just gonna read my symptoms from week 4 through 13th. I stayed pretty much the same weight and lost weight and then gained weight towards the end of the first trimester, and it lines up with the nausea that I was experiencing and the morning sickness. So I found out with the home test week 4, no symptoms at all, except for the fact that as soon as I found out, I have never been able to sleep like I slept pre-pregnancy, because I think the first few weeks I was so excited and I just was praying that the baby was healthy and waiting for the confirmation from the OB that indeed I did have a baby in there, and they don't let you go in for a while, and so it really messes with you, and you know you're pregnant and you want someone to confirm it until you go in there and you have to take a P test, and then they confirm it, and then you have to wait again to get an ultrasound, which is the longest wait. So week 4, no symptoms except I could not sleep, and I was just so excited. Now it led from, like, I was so excited I'm still excited for my baby, I promise. But the reason for my not sleeping was because I was so excited, and then it turned into nausea, and then it turned into waking up randomly at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep all throughout the last few weeks of the first trimester. And now, I'll explain now in my second trimester update, but I've never been able to sleep like I slept pre-pregnancy, this entire pregnancy, and that's okay because we got to get used to it. We're not going to be sleeping when the baby comes. So that's definitely something I wasn't expecting. I thought I'd be sleeping more because I thought I'd be tired more, which you are, but unfortunately my body doesn't let me sleep as much as I want to. So week 5, slight cramps again. This is gonna get TMI, but sore breast and nipples. That changes really early on. I wasn't really expecting that. That changes really early on. Week 5, those changes are being changed. So that was strange. I was not expecting that at all. I thought it'd be like later on in the pregnancy. Week 6, a chicken aversion. So week 6 is when my morning sickness started, and it was horrible. I had a chicken aversion, so if I looked at chicken, it happened. If I smelled chicken, it happened. When I would eat chicken, I'd get sick. The only thing is, it was just like a healthy chicken. If I had fried chicken, I was all good. I could go to Lovebirds, I could go to Chick-fil-A, I could go to Publix and get some fried chicken, and it was delicious. And that's like what sustained me through the first trimester during my nausea, was a baguette, butter, and fried chicken. But the healthy chicken, we could not have it in the house. It smelled horrible because you smell so much better when you're pregnant, and you can smell things you never smelled before, and chicken cooking was just disgusting. So that was week 6, bad gag reflex. I remember even if I wasn't nauseous, I would just gag. Like I would, like my coworker came in with yogurt one day and I smelt it, and I out loud gagged without being able to control it. It was disgusting. And so anytime I thought about something disgusting, or anytime I smelt something gross, I'm just out loud gagging. No matter where I am, it was horrible. I hated that. And also the bad gag reflex when I was brushing my teeth. Oh, brushing my teeth was so hard in the first trimester. It was so difficult. So my tip for that is, if you're brushing your teeth and you have a bad gag reflex, is to brush your teeth for only a little bit of time, spit whatever you have in your mouth out, take a deep breath, continue, spit. Do not let any like built up saliva get in there, because then you need to brush your teeth again because your face was in the toilet for a little bit because you brushed your teeth for too long and it was disgusting. So that's a tip on brushing your teeth in the first trimester if you have nausea or if you have a bad gag reflex. And then week 6, a little nausea and feeling exhausted. That's when that started. So the first 2 weeks of me knowing that I was pregnant, I didn't really have too many symptoms. But when week 6 hit, it got real. It got real fast. Week 7, it got worse. Throwing up, nausea, tired. Week 8, I have the same exact thing written down. Throwing up, nausea, tired. Week 9, an egg aversion. So I had the chicken aversion week 6. 3 weeks later, I could no longer eat eggs, and I loved eggs. And honestly, to this day, I'm still having issues eating eggs. I can eat them now, but that egg aversion, I couldn't look at them, I couldn't smell them, I couldn't eat them. I took a bite one day just because I was eating eggs normally. I thought I was fine, and then immediately had to run to the trash can because that was no longer something my body was going to take. So I had an egg aversion, and then again, boob changes or breast changes. So just the enlargement of them, the soreness of them, it just continued to happen. It didn't stop happening. So that is what happened then. This is when I start gaining a little bit more weight. Week 10, I'm finally figuring out what to do with my nausea and my morning sickness, and that is drinking smoothies. Again, the baguettes from Publix, not healthy at all. Fried chicken, things I did not care that if I wasn't being healthy per se. I just needed to get food in my body, and whatever my body would accept is what I ate. So if you're worried that you're not eating enough fruit or vegetables or whatever, take your prenatal and then just make sure you're eating. Like, at that point, I'd rather be unhealthy and eat than starve, and your baby appreciates that too. Week 10, I have nausea written down. It doesn't go away. And then I started showing my little baby bump week 10, and that was just the most exciting thing, because for 6 weeks you're face down in a toilet and you're not telling anyone yet, or we didn't at least. And so when I started showing, it felt real, and I had the confirmation from my doctors at that point that I was pregnant. And it's just amazing how your body grows and how your body is capable of creating this human all on its own, and you're just sitting there along for the ride. So that was a really fun moment for me to start showing. Week 11, week 11, I started vomiting too much, exhaustion. So that was just rough. It started getting worse again, week 10, 11. Week 12, I got COVID, and I had a breakdown. I remember it. I was in the bathroom crying at like 2 a.m. because I felt sick for so long, and then I got COVID. So then I'm isolated and I'm feeling sick, not able to do anything. I had such low energy, and I was like, is this what pregnancy is like? Like, I'm so happy for my baby, and I want my baby, and I love my baby. Don't get me wrong, but I just felt defeated. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I just felt like a vessel, like a sick person. Just the baby sucking all the energy out of me, and the baby is just making me so sick. It was horrible, but I got over COVID, thank God. And after that, let's see, week 13, COVID, fatigue, nausea, acne. That was fun. After that first trimester, things really do start looking up. So I think COVID, getting it at that time was just horrible timing, because that just knocked me out and wiped me out, and I was just exhausted already. And then there's hope. There's hope in the second trimester. The nausea did go away. Spoiler alert. I think week 14, it just was like, whoop, no more. But sometimes there's like a little thing here and there that would make me feel like a little sick, but I'm not throwing up anymore, and COVID went away. The exhaustion doesn't really go away, but it's not as prevalent. It's not like you're sitting there and your eyes are closing while you're doing something. That comes back apparently in the third trimester, but we're not there yet. So those are the symptoms that I had. Let's see, week 6 to week 13, about six or 7 weeks of morning sickness, which does come at all times of the day. I had mine usually in the mornings or afternoon. I only had to take a couple days off work where I was just like, you wake up in the morning and you know it's not going to be a good day, so that's when you need to take off. And it's like multiple times a day, and it's horrible. But there's days in those 6 weeks or 7 weeks that were just amazing, and that were fun, and that you weren't sick at all. So it's not as horrible as people make it sound, and it's so worth it that if I was that sick and I wasn't pregnant, I would be miserable. But because I'm sick, and I know it's because I'm growing my baby, that I'm like, whatever, this is okay, anything for my baby to help keep her healthy and growing. Some resources I use starting in the first trimester that I'm just continuing to use throughout pregnancy is the What to Expect app on your phone. There are many different ones, but that's the one I found and I like it. It gives you, sorry, I'm out of breath. It gives you like weekly things to expect, symptoms that you're going to expect, your baby and the size of the baby, like little comparison charts, and some of them are so cute. Mostly fruit, but they have like 90s throwbacks. They have really cute stuff on there. And then also your baby's development, like what your baby looks like, how big your baby is, what your baby's learning, what they're growing. And that was really cool to see week by week, just seeing how your baby is a baby as soon as that baby is formed. So that I loved. I also used this book, Real Food for Pregnancy. Okay, so I love being healthy and eating healthy and being educated in what I'm doing with my life. And there are so many people out there who are like, you can't do this when you're pregnant, you can't have this and you can't do that and whatever. I wanted to get it straight from a professional. So this one is from a nutritional person, an RDN and a CDE. She's a best-selling author of Real Food for Gestational Diabetes as well. This one is just Real Food for Pregnancy, and it's recommended by a bunch of midwives and doctors, and it's just really cool because you get people who look at you and tell you you can't have coffee, but you can actually have coffee. You can have 200 milligrams a day, and that is okay. You tell people that they say that you can't have fish, and there are certain fishes that you want to stay away from, but there are also fishes that you want to have because of those nutritional benefits. So getting educated and reading for myself really empowered me. I did still make decisions because I'm a worrywart, and I just wanted to be as healthy as I could be for the baby, even with all the nausea and the morning sickness. I did stay away from coffee the first trimester because I was scared. You know, it could lead to preeclampsia. You know, you read those things, if too much can lead to this and too much can lead to that. And I just wanted to make it through the first trimester and to make sure that my baby was healthy and safe. And that was something that I did for myself. Not something that I even had a friend come over one night and she's like, Kristen, you can't miscarry because you're drinking coffee. And I was like, I know I sound crazy, but I just want to make it through the first trimester before I start drinking coffee again. That's just something that I made myself. That's a decision I made for myself. And I started not drinking coffee as we were trying to get pregnant, so I was already off of my coffee addiction at that point. So there's certain things, like, you're the mom, you choose what you want to do. It's your body. You take care of yourself the way you want to take care of yourself. I do eat sushi. I eat like fried sushi, the tempura sushi, vegetable sushi. I do eat things that some people say you're not supposed to eat while you're pregnant, but I eat what's based from evidence in this book, and just taking care of my health and making sure that I'm making the right decisions, because you don't want to get rid of all of the nutritional values in the foods that they tell you you're not supposed to eat, when in fact you are supposed to be eating them, and your baby needs those nutritional values. So that is something that I love, just being empowered in that way. The app empowered me to know what's actually happening with my body and to anticipate what's going to happen to my body. And I think that's really it. Kind of a long spiel, but first trimester was such a joy, even through the sickness. It was just, we've been praying for a baby for so long, and God answered our prayers and blessed us with our little baby. The first time we got an ultrasound was in the first trimester, and it's unreal seeing your baby just move around and seeing the heartbeat and hearing the heartbeat. That was just incredible. So if you're in the beginning stages of your first trimester, just look forward to those things. Stay true to what you believe in. Don't let someone judge you at the Starbucks coffee line because you're getting some coffee. If that's your decision, drink your coffee. You can have 200 milligrams a day. Don't let them scare you. Even though that I did drink decaf. But at some point, I didn't want to drink any coffee, like even decaf, because the baby didn't like it and it was making me nauseous. So kind of helped with the whole not drinking coffee thing for a while. But yeah, that is it for the first trimester. It was just amazing. It was just so amazing knowing that I had a baby and that I have a body that's taking care of that baby all on its own. And those changes are weird. The changes happen so fast, but they are so worth it. You're becoming a mom, and your baby is being supplied with everything that the baby needs through your body, which is really cool. So I have nothing else to say. I think that's it. If I missed anything, I think that's it. So that's it for my first trimester bump date. I am coming really close to being over with the second trimester, so I will get another video out soon about the second trimester. But just enjoy this time if you are pregnant. Tell your friends and family whenever you want to. Don't wait because some people tell you to wait, or do what you want to do. The first trimester is the best. The secret between you and your partner, your spouse, your husband, it's just amazing, and it's just the best time. It's such a blessing. But thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next Friday.